So in today's video, you see all that nasty yellow interior lighting? We're gonna go ahead and fix that problem. Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Shanis. Real quick at home base, and forgive the muscle tee, forgive the darkness. We're kind of going through a small heat wave in California, so I'm just trying to stay as cool as possible. But I did want to make a note real quick before jumping to the install. So the majority of this video is obviously done on the Tucson, mainly because I had not done the Tucson yet, so I was able to actually show you a hands-on install. The Veloster has all of these lights already upgraded, but I did want to just mention that this video, even though it's done on the Tucson, is very similar to almost all the other KDM cars out there. All of them have a big similarity in the bulbs that they use. However, I would recommend buying a good amount of both of the bulb types that I'm going to mention in this video. I'd say probably 6 of each, just because you'll notice that those are the most predominant bulbs on the interior, and they do change depending on the model. A perfect example is the front dome lights. Are actually different from the Tucson as the Veloster. However, every other light on the interior is identical. So with that being said, there are some little differences that Hyundai and Kia probably do within their models, so it's best to be prepared and having an extra amount of bulbs. And lastly, the only bulb I would recommend getting an extremely bright iteration of is the one for the hatch, and that being because if you have cargo, if you're getting groceries at night, it makes sense to have that whole trunk space illuminated as brightly as possible, as opposed to having a blinding light in front of you if you need one for, say, the dome lights as an example. So with that being said, we're going to jump straight into the install. Again, disregard the fact that the majority of this is done in the Tucson, as this is pretty universal with most KDM cars. Alright, before we get started, make sure you have both sets of bulbs. You do need 2 different sets for interiors. The right side over here are what's called like a T10, also famously known as, I believe it's like 194 and 168. And this side is what is now known as a DE 3175. So this one will look like this. It replaces this style bulb, and then this one comes in different shapes. Mine are the flat style. It might be more like cylindrical or cone-like, much like the bulb it replaces. Almost everything else, including the rear hatch light and the little, I guess I'll call them makeup lights, are this style. So because I started the video in the back, we're actually gonna go in here on the left-hand side for the rear one, and literally just the small tip, you're gonna do like so, and it comes right out. Now time to disconnect this. With all of these, be really careful because they're all going to be hot, especially because they're probably going to be lit while you're replacing them. So just be really mindful. This rear one specifically, because the moment you open the hatch, it lights up, no way to turn it off, and it's on obviously, so it's going to be quite warm. I'm waiting for it to cool off a little bit in order to remove the top lid to replace the bulb. So you notice the bottom piece is where the connection goes. I would insert the pry tool between this end, not the rear end. Just insert it between the black and the clear part, and just kind of wedge it in, and it'll pop right out. Just like the rest, once you see that, you just pull out the bulb, pop out the new one, pop in the new one, no particular direction, and let's test it out. Last but not least, this one does go in this orientation. You'll see later on in the video that one of them actually I installed this way, but you have to rotate it around. This one though, because the clear top goes here, this is the way you want to install this bulb. So let's go connect it and see the new outcome. All right, so now that we put in the bulb, I'm literally just gonna plug it back in. Immediately you see it working. So then just like so, plug goes towards the top. There you go. So with the first one out of the way, we have 5 more to go, not including the map light. So this is the next one, and again, body panel removal tool. On this one, you don't actually want to remove the outside, you want to remove the actual just plastic portion. So again, the small side, and I would actually recommend inserting it right here where the button's at. Don't worry, you're not damaging anything, you're not breaking, but essentially you just kind of want to get in there and kind of pull out. It might take a few attempts, but once it's adhered enough, once at least one side kind of pops out, then it's a lot easier to remove. I'm gonna do that first. So as you can see, I inserted it and this part's kind of popping out, so now it's just a matter of pulling. And again, be a little careful. Once removed, pretty simple, just pop out the bulb, just grab it, Unfortunately, I made sure to not have the dome lights on at all when doors open, so this one's actually cool to the touch, unlike the rear one. So I'm just gonna gently pull it out, pops out like so, and then just time to literally just plug in the new LED bulb. This one might seem really obvious, but make sure to face the LED chips down, so basically facing you. You don't want to accidentally install this the opposite way. Also, there's no directional way, so one tip doesn't go, you know, top or bottom, it doesn't matter. You'll just insert it in and should be good to go. So it's in. Because they're easily rotatable, again, make sure it's at the optimum point. And before you put the cover on, I always like to test them out, especially if unfortunately you got a faulty one and you don't want to redo the whole removal process. So I'm gonna press this. Whoo! Super bright white LED. In this situation, I usually prefer doing the bottom part because of the teeth. So did that, and then just and done with this one. My next point of focus is going to be the front two domes. So very similar to the one that we just did in the back. You're gonna go and just pry off these plastic covers and then just replace the bulb. So I'm gonna go ahead and once again use my body panel removal tool and just kind of find a place where these start gapping out. Be careful because obviously when you push them, they turn on. So a few times while you're attempting this, you're probably gonna accidentally slip and turn them on. Make sure to immediately turn them off as soon as possible so they don't heat up, and then obviously try again. Trial and error. So once the plate's removed, you see the bulb. This is a different style. They're very snug in there, so someone with fat hands obviously, or larger girthy hands, it's gonna be hard to get. I recommend doing this very gently, but you can actually insert the pry tool underneath and kind of with a very light pressure start pushing it out, so that way it'll actually pop out a lot easier. But again, be careful because you don't want to smash and break the bulb, because the last thing you want to do is pick up tiny bulb pieces. The particular design that I chose for this one is this style because I have a ton of these LED bulbs, at least in this style. So you'll insert it, but again, remember these particular ones are directional, so always good to test it out. Hey, success, they work, super bright. So now I can put the cover back on and show you how to do that. And obviously you'll repeat for the other side to fix this one. So real quick, one thing I forgot to mention is when reinstalling, you'll see these things right here, these prongs, and there's obviously a place to go for them on here, but don't do that first. Do the teeth first and then push it in. And voila, they're in place. See? Last but not least, this you know, these little I don't know, makeup lights or whatnot, these are the easiest ones. So this one you do have to remove the whole little assembly, kind of like the rear parking lights. So you'll just kind of insert in and pop it all out, watch. So once you get yourself in there, you'll literally see that like this, it'll just pop out and then just pull, and then simple, there's the bulb. So we'll just pull that out, replace it with the bulb that was for the middle dome and the rear hatch, and we'll go from there. So I have big hands, so I had difficulty doing this from hanging there. You could just unclip it. However, one thing that I did want to show you guys is that once you take the bulb out, I would actually recommend starting with putting this end in that's got the hole. Put one end in there and then slide the other side by pushing down. So essentially it'll be something like this where the lower part's in and then you just push the top part in. All right, once the bulb is in, you reconnect and then simply just tuck in the connector part first. And then also one really cool thing to note is that if you mess up like I just did obviously and had it backwards and realized it too late, these bulbs are just really nice. All you have to do is just spin them around. So I did just that. So now connector's plugged in, make sure you tuck in that side first. Be careful with the carpeting so it doesn't kind of stick out, and then you just clicked in, voila, and then they obviously turn off when you close these. Repeat for the other side. And to show you guys the finished product, voila, no more nasty yellow. Everything interior lights is LED. Love it, love it, good. As always guys, this is kind of simple, but nice little extra dress up for your interior, especially if you need a little bit more light in there. I hope this was somewhat helpful to you guys, but as always, thanks for all the love and support. Just another little add-on to the Tucson. More Tucson videos to come, along with Veloster stuff, don't worry. Hey guys, one minor note is the reason I did this video is I had been mentioned again that I had kind of lost my way with some of the more economical and affordable mods. So it's almost the 4-year anniversary of the car, well, of me owning it. So you guys know I like to do a roundup of all the modifications and just my overall impression 4 years into ownership. So those videos will definitely be coming next month. But again, fret not, because it's not like it's that far. I literally have like possibly maybe 2 videos before those, and I just want to do a very thorough job of it. So thanks for sticking out to this little, snippet, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Alright, so the bonus round is the map light, which literally you just pry off and it comes off. It'll be hanging, you unplug. This one I'm not going to do for a few reasons. Call me lazy. This plastic covering is also covering the actual connector piece. I personally don't feel like damaging this just to get a brighter light in here, especially when, there's enough light here and enough brightness already on the inside that you should be able to see the things in here. And realistically, who's going to go in here? So if you really want to know, this is a T10 style to replace, but I'm just going to plug it back in and pop it back in and call it a day.